are tuned in to the NUC NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show.
Welcome back to the NUC NFL Draft Bibles Players Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and of course, we are presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. To nominate a player for the third annual College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium, log on to cgsallstar.com. Stay tuned for our 2017 College Gridiron Showcase watch list presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, which will be posted immediately following the 2016 NFL Draft. Follow College Gridiron Showcase on Twitter at CGSAllstar. The College Gridiron Showcase, it's not where you play, it's how you play, and our next guest fits that motto perfectly. Joining the Player Spotlight Show now is John Tidwell, the defensive back out of the University of Sioux Falls. John, we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. How's the pre-draft process been treating you as we are now 10 days away from the start of the 2016 NFL Draft?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And, I mean, it's stressful, fun, exciting. There's a lot of mixed emotions that go along with it. But, I mean, I've had a good time with it all, and it's really just a really cool experience.
Absolutely. You only go through all this once, and right now I'm sure you're pretty happy to finally be done, running your last 40-yard dash, having to worry how high of a vertical leap that you're able to jump. I'm sure you're pretty happy that all of that is past you, as you were able to participate in the South Dakota State Pro Day, where it does look like you had yourself a pretty solid day. You measured in at 5'11", 199. You ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, a 7.253 cone, and you leaped 34.5 inches in the vertical, a 10.1 broad jump. Are those the numbers that you kind of expected to put up at your pro day? I mean, are you satisfied with the performance?
I am actually very satisfied. I actually surprised myself a little bit with some of those numbers because we do an annual combine here at the University of Sioux Falls, and I actually blew most of those numbers out of the water that I've ever done here, which was kind of nice to see. So.
Yeah, whenever you're able to get that the personal records and the personal bests, when NFL scouts are there in attendance for a pro day, I don't think you could go wrong with that at all. It does look like you did not do the bench press at the pro day due to a shoulder injury. Can you just talk how serious that injury is, how the shoulder's feeling now, and give us an estimate of how many reps of 225 pounds you think you could pump out if you were healthy?
Well, it was my junior season is when I messed it up, so, I mean, it's nothing serious now. I had to just have labrum surgery. There was a partial tear in there, so I just wanted to get that fixed up. And, I mean, it feels good right now. It feels healthy. I feel strong. There's just, I mean, it's not as strong as I want it to be, so that's why the bench press couldn't happen. And, I mean, I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd maybe say in the 11 to 13 range.
Okay, hey, not bad. I mean, especially for a defensive back, I think you're always just looking to kind of hit double digits, and if you could get, 11, 12, 13, that would certainly, bode well for yourself. By any chance, have you been able to chat with any scouts? Have you been able to get any feedback, any idea how teams are viewing you as of right now?
Yeah, well, right after when I went down for the Denver Bronco Pro Day, actually, a scout called my agent back, and he gave some pretty good feedback, and they said good things about me, and they really liked me. So I'm hoping that raises some hairs with other teams as well, and hopefully something good comes of it here coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Well, I got to think it's always it's only a positive right now when you're hearing that good things about your pro day, about what they see on tape of you, and you mentioned it, John. Recently, you were among 9 prospects that participated in the Denver Broncos local day. What was that experience like, being able to work out for your hometown team?
I mean, that was awesome. It was such a great experience, and I was so honored to be able to do that. Being able to get back home in itself was fun, and getting to be around my hometown again a little bit, and it was just a sweet experience to be able to go through that whole process. And I'm very thankful for the Broncos having me there, and the whole organization for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, your hometown team, and how could I forget the defending Super Bowl champions now? Gotta think it'd be nice to suit up for them. Again, a team that you probably grew up rooting for, I would guess, and then obviously a team that has had a lot of success lately. Was there any questions about your game that you want to answer, whether it was at your pro day or at that Broncos local day? Was there any questions that you want to answer those to those in attendance and prove to them that you were capable of doing what it was that they may have questioned?
No, there was no real questions there. The only thing is, of course, I come from a smaller school, so I mean that in itself is a question. But I believe if you can play no matter what division you're at, and you just have to be able to show that and prove that on the field. So there was no real questions though.
Okay, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, whether it's big-time Division I, FBS, D1 AA, FCS, D2, D3, heck, we're even seeing NAIA guys get shots. I mean, if you could play, they will certainly find you. Again, he's the 2016 NFL draft prospect, the cornerback, John Tidwell out of Division II, Sioux Falls, joining us here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And John, you were a 4-year starter over there at Sioux Falls. If I did my research correctly, you mentioned that shoulder injury occurred your junior season, but if I did my research correctly, you did not miss a single game, and you had 12 career interceptions, which of course averages out to about 4 per year. What would you attribute not only your durability, but your overall success to, and how would you describe your 4 years as a Cougar?
I would have to. The biggest thing is I'm a mental type guy, so I like to study the game a lot, and I use basically my knowledge for the game more than anything else, because I like to study and watch a lot of film and see how different players react and move, and I can get a sense of what they're going to do when it actually comes game time. And I mean, my 4 years as a Cougar was awesome. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, I've learned so much throughout the coaches, the players, my peers, and I just got to say thank you to everyone that helped me be able to get here, because I didn't do it alone, that's for sure. All throughout this whole college career, I had guys up front that were rushing the quarterback for me. We had linebackers doing the same, and it made my job a lot easier when they did what they had to do. So.
And, of course, you make their job a lot easier as well. We all know how much a great pass rush could help the secondary and how much a very solid secondary could help a nice pass rush as well. John, let's say you're able to recommend one game over the last 4 years to an NFL scout to go back and check out. Which game would you suggest?
I would probably suggest our Mineral Water Bowl. It would have been against Central Oklahoma, University of Central Oklahoma, which was the end of my junior year, which was a sweet game. I mean, I just went out there and had a lot of fun, and you can kind of see that on tape. So, and that's how I want to be remembered as that. So, 2
interceptions that game, is that right?
Right.
There you go. And John, a few months back, we had your teammate Solomon St. Pierre on. Just looking at your film, looking at his film, and just seeing the amount of success that both of you guys had individually. I mean, you guys were both ball hawks over the last 4 years. I believe he had 19 interceptions over the last 2 years. I mean, you guys complemented each other perfectly in the defensive backfield. Why do you think that was?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we always talk about it and stuff. I think it's because we're almost totally opposite players. He's one of the guys that are more riskier guys that'll take chances and do different type of things, and I'm more of a want to be up in the guy's face and jamming and whatnot. So when a quarterback sees that there's one side of the field that this is happening, and the other side, he just thinks that each quarterback that we played would think they would be able to get away with something and maybe fit something somewhere they thought they could, but they really can't. So I mean, I think we played really well together. We loved each other so much, and we just had fun playing and competing against each other, because that was the biggest thing. We'd always compete every day in practice, every day in the film room. We'd be competing against each other one-on-one, and then that would trickle down in our other teammates, and they saw that, and I think that's what made us very good together.
I'm not sure if you've been able to kind of go through this pre-draft process with him, but does it make it a little easier? I mean, not every season or not every year do we see a guy from Sioux Falls get a legit shot to make it to the NFL. Now this year, we're probably going to have at least two guys, both you and Solomon. Does it make it easier at all to kind of go through this with a teammate?
Oh yeah, it sure does. We always talk to each other about it every night, saying, "Man, how you doing?" This and that. Loving each other up, encouraging each other, and make sure that we're both doing what we got to do to keep doing what we need to be able to get in, because we work out together almost every day. So we're still pushing each other right now, and I think that that's what's going to help us get in.
Absolutely. Again, two small school defensive backs to definitely keep an eye on. Again, we're chatting with John Tidwell, the defensive back, the All-American defensive back out of the University of Sioux Falls, here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And, John, here's a question I'd like to ask all the prospects that we have on the show. Who do you feel is the best single player that you've had to play against over the last 4 years? I mean, was there ever a wide receiver that you knew heading into that week you had to bring your A game no matter what?
Yeah, actually, I would say I'd probably have to say Josh Mikas from the University of Winona. He was a bigger dude that could really fly. I mean, you had to be on your A game every game when you played against him, and I actually got to play him all 4 years that I actually played here, so it was fun always battling against him. So.
Okay, Winona. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to go back, but I want to say Solomon may have picked a wide receiver from Winona as well. So definitely have to go back and check that out. Anyways, moving on. I mean, give us a brief scouting report on yourself. I mean, what would you say is your biggest strength as a defensive back, and what is one thing that you feel that you could still improve
on? I'd say my biggest strength is the knowledge of the game and my awareness, and basically having a good game, mental game of what I need to do defensively in order to stop my opponent. I think that that's one of my keys. Something I probably need to work on would be having that quick reaction to be able to see what's going on a little faster, because sometimes in the run game I won't see that offensive lineman pulling, so I'm a little slow coming up on the run. But, I mean, that's probably one thing I'd work on.
Okay. And, of course, you mentioned the knowledge of your game, the knowledge of the game of being one of your bigger strengths, and obviously that could go a long way. I mean, you could be, the most physical player out there, have all the physical traits, but, if you don't have great knowledge of the game, it's not going to do too much for you. So obviously that will help you out a lot as you move forward to the professional game. Just a couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you go. John, really do appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. Is there a current or former NFL defensive back that you've kind of tried to mold your game after, maybe take bits and pieces of their game and add it onto your own?
I mean, I would honestly probably say Sherman, because of how long and lengthy he is. He kind of reminds me of myself, being a little long and lengthy, and how he likes to get up into guys' face and press. I mean, I love doing that. That's my favorite thing to do, is get up in the wide receiver and press them, because they don't like that at all. You'll see a lot nowadays, wide receivers, they get a little intimidated when you see someone come down and get in their face. And, I mean, he's probably one of the guys that I've tried to almost imitate a little bit. Maybe not so much his personality and the stuff talking. I don't do a lot of that. But, I mean, I think his game and my game go a little bit hand in hand, so.
Well, certainly arguably the top cornerback in the NFL over the last few years. I mean, Richard Sherman, his name is always brought up in conversations with, Darrelle Revis, Patrick Peterson, some of the best in the league. So certainly cannot go wrong with that. And I think more and more teams are looking for the physical defensive backs that aren't afraid to get in wide receivers' face, that aren't afraid of, contact. So certainly great to hear. And final question for you, John. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're tuned in and listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive back out of Sioux Falls, John Tidwell, a part of their team?
I would say I'll bring great leadership and a great character to any program that I'm a part of. I love the game of football, and it's something that is really near and dear to my heart. And I think that if I was able to get a chance to go to any of the programs, I'd be able to bring a lot of enthusiasm, hard work, and dedication, and be able to show up and help out any program that was willing to give me an opportunity.
Sounds great. Well, John, congratulations on all the success, not only at your time at Sioux Falls playing for the Cougars, a 4-year starter, but of course the success that you've had throughout this pre-draft process as well, being able to work out for your hometown Denver Broncos. I got to think that was just an incredible experience, and we're certainly wishing you all the best as we are just 10 days away from the start of the 2016 NFL Draft. We're certainly going to be looking out to see where you land.
And I appreciate that, and thank you very much for having me on your show today.
There he goes. That's John Tidwell, the defensive back out of the University of Sioux Falls, a Division II program that not every year you see guys make it to the NFL from this program, Sioux Falls. But this year I think there are a legit two guys that will, at least two guys at least on my radar that will at least be in an NFL training camp this summer, and of course they're both defensive backs, and John Tidwell and Solomon St. Pierre, who we had on a few months back, really wreaked a lot of havoc for opposing quarterbacks and opposing wide receivers for quite a few years over there at the Division II level. Really one of the top Division II teams in the country. It was nice to see them actually, and I should have probably asked John about this, but it was nice to see them get a shot in the NCAA Division II playoffs this past season. Yeah, they were knocked out in the first round, but, you know, they've been a really good team over the last few years, and to see them finally get that opportunity to shine in the playoffs was pretty nice. Anyway, special thanks to John Tidwell for giving us a call this afternoon. Certainly a name to look out for day 3 of the NFL Draft, and maybe even as a priority free agent if he doesn't get that phone call at some point throughout the 7 rounds of the 2016 NFL Draft. He'll certainly get one following the NFL Draft. Anyways, special thanks again to John Tidwell for giving us a call. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. This was the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and of course, we're always presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. Again, to nominate a player for the 3rd Annual College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium, log on to cgsallstar.com. Stay tuned for our 2017 College Gridiron Showcase watch list, presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, which will be posted immediately following the 2016 NFL Draft. Follow College Gridiron Showcase on Twitter at CGS All-Star. The College Gridiron Showcase, it's not where you play, it's how you play.